Quick disclaimer, information in this podcast is for general informational purposes only and is not intended to be treated as medical advice. Always consult with your healthcare team before making changes to your diet, lifestyle, supplementation, or medication.
Think fiber is just for digestion? What if I told you it could lower your A1C, improve blood sugar, and even help with cholesterol, all without adding blood sugar spikes to your day? Let's uncover the fantastic benefits of fiber.
Welcome to Type 2 Diabetes Talk, the place where we chat about what really works to treat type 2 diabetes and prediabetes naturally with nutrition and lifestyle. If you're looking to optimize blood sugar and A1C, lose weight, reduce medications, and improve your overall health, this is the place to be. Now, here's your host, Type 2 Diabetes Nutrition Specialist, Dr. Jeddah.
Hello, wonderful people. Dr. Jeddah here, and thanks for joining me for episode 73. When you've been out surfing the Wild West web, without a doubt, you've heard of fiber mentioned in relation to pre or T2 diabetes. When it comes to managing blood sugar and overall health, fiber is often highlighted as a key nutrient. But what makes it so special? If you've ever wondered whether fiber lives up to the hype, today's episode is for you. We'll unpack exactly how fiber works, its specific benefits for pre and T2 diabetes, and how you can make the most of it in your daily life. By the end of this episode, you'll have a clear understanding of why fiber is such a valuable tool in managing blood sugar naturally. So let's start by defining what fiber is. When we talk about fiber, technically speaking, we are referring to a type of carbohydrate, but it's not the kind that impacts your blood sugar. Fiber is unique because your body doesn't digest or absorb it like other carbs, so it doesn't raise your blood sugar levels. Instead, it can play a role in supporting your blood sugar management and your overall health. Now, there are many different types of fiber, but the two main types we're most familiar with are soluble and insoluble fiber. Each has different benefits, and both are important. Soluble fiber dissolves in water, forming a gel-like substance in your digestive tract. Think of foods like chia seeds, flax seeds, avocados, and vegetables such as zucchini and asparagus. When they digest, they create that gel-like substance, and this gel slows down digestion and helps reduce the absorption of sugar and carbohydrates into your bloodstream. On the other hand, insoluble fiber doesn't dissolve in water. Instead, it forms a latticework-like structure in our gut and moves along the digestive tract, adding weight and bulk to waste material and assisting with digestion. And of course, helping us poop. So insoluble fiber is good for maintaining regularity and supporting our gut health as well. And foods like nuts, seeds, and vegetables are excellent sources of insoluble fiber. Fiber isn't classified as an essential nutrient. The body can function without dietary fiber because it does not digest or absorb fiber as a source of energy or nutrients as such. Unlike essential nutrients, fiber doesn't have a biochemical role critical for survival. Similarly, fiber deficiency doesn't lead really to a specific deficiency disease. But that doesn't mean fiber isn't helpful. While it's not essential, fiber is considered beneficial as it can play a role in promoting overall health and preventing disease. So let's take a closer look at those benefits now, particularly in relation to prediabetes and type 2 diabetes. So in terms of pre and T2 diabetes, it's the soluble fiber that is of particular interest and benefit to you. Some researchers suggest that adding soluble fiber can account for an average 35% variance in your peak glucose levels, which means it may help lower blood sugar levels by quite a lot. To examine this more closely, I looked at meta-analyses of randomized control trials, And these are the highest form of evidence as they bring all the data from clinical trials together to determine effects of certain things, and in this case, it's fibre. In one review, all but one clinical trial indicated a reduction in A1C levels from increasing dietary fibre intake, with an average A1C reduction of 0.66%. That was the average when considering both types of fibre, soluble and insoluble. But if we look at soluble fibre alone, the average A1C reduction was 0.86%. Another recent review found that intake of soluble fibre decreased A1C by an average 0.47%, while another found an average of 0.63%. So overall, fibre, particularly soluble fibre, can help decrease A1C levels by 0.47% to 0.86%. So what this indicates to us is that the addition of soluble fibre to your eating plan can certainly help with better long-term blood sugar control. In terms of fasting blood sugar levels, one review found increasing fibre by an average of 10 grams a day for 8 weeks leads to reduction of fasting blood sugar levels of 15.5 milligrams per decilitre or 0.8 millimoles per litre. Another found this reduction to be slightly higher at 16.7 milligrams per litre or 0.93 millimoles per litre. Both soluble and insoluble fibres can contribute to lowering fasting blood sugar levels, but again, soluble fibre wins out here, showing more pronounced effects. In terms of postprandial blood sugar levels, that's your levels when testing 2 hours after meals. In one interesting study, people were given soluble fibre at breakfast, whether from food sources or supplements, and the results suggested an 18% difference in postprandial glucose levels when breakfasts were rich in fibre. The higher fibre intake was around 9 grams, ensuring around 5.4 grams come from soluble fibre compared to the usual fibre intake of the other participants, which was lower at 2.4 grams for breakfast and just 0.8 grams of soluble fibre. So what that means is that by including soluble fibre at breakfast, you can significantly reduce your postprandial glucose levels after breakfast. From the reviews, we also see insulin resistance decreasing and insulin sensitivity improving, which is very important. We see these results in lower levels of fasting insulin and lower HOMA-IR scores, which is a test frequently used in studies to assess people's levels of insulin resistance. An enhanced insulin sensitivity allows cells to utilise glucose more effectively, reducing blood sugar levels. So it's great to know that fibre improves insulin resistance. There are additional benefits of soluble fibre. These include improving cholesterol levels, including reducing total cholesterol and LDL cholesterol. And soluble fibre helps lower LDL cholesterol by binding to bile acids in the digestive tract, causing them to be excreted rather than recycled. So that effectively helps to reduce LDL levels. Additionally, soluble fibre slows the absorption of dietary cholesterol, further supporting improved cholesterol profiles. Dietary fibre also serves as a prebiotic, nourishing beneficial gut bacteria. And fermentation of fibre by these bacteria in our gut produces short-chain fatty acids, which have been shown to improve insulin sensitivity and help modulate inflammation. And these are both critical factors involved in better blood sugar regulation. Soluble fibres also promote the growth of beneficial gut bacteria, which helps reduce inflammation, the type of inflammation that tends to target our cells and contribute to ill health, which is called systemic inflammation. So interestingly, even in well-controlled studies where the food intake has been identical apart from the fibre intake, we see that the increased daily fibre improves blood sugar control, decreases hyperinsulinemia, which is unnecessary high insulin levels, and helps lower cholesterol levels. And another important thing is we do observe that people who have higher fibre intake have a 20 to 30% reduced risk of developing type 2 diabetes. A few other benefits of fibre is that high fibre foods tend to be more filling, so they help us feel fuller longer, rounding out our appetite. Fibre can help improve our metabolism since fibre makes us chew, and we need to chew to stimulate enzymes and acids needed for proper digestion. So all of these things are extremely positive outcomes for your health.
Imagine the results you can achieve with access to trusted support wherever you are at your fingertips whenever you need it. Dr. Jeda's VIP online membership will guide you step by step to understand your diabetes and exactly what to eat to keep your blood sugar stable, lose weight, and reduce medications. Gain the power to change your diabetes health and join as a VIP member today. Visit type2diabetestalk.com/programs.
Now you know about all the potential benefits of fibre intake, you may be wondering how much fibre to aim for each day. Well, when it comes to fibre, the daily recommendation is 25 to 38 grams of fibre per day for adults. But here's the thing. Research shows us that many people only consume about half of that, often just 15 grams a day, sometimes less. And one of the primary reasons for this is that most modern packaged foods are made with refined ingredients that are stripped of fibre. The fact that our intake of ultra-processed foods has increased means our intake of healthy whole foods has decreased, and alongside that, our fibre intake. Increasing your fibre intake to meet these recommendations, 25 to 38 grams of fibre per day, can make a huge difference in managing blood sugar, improving insulin resistance, improving gut health, cholesterol, inflammation, and many other factors as we discussed earlier. Reviews indicate you need to increase your fibre intake for a minimum of 6 weeks to see any changes in your A1C, and overall you need to have an increased intake higher than around 8.3 grams a day extra than what you're consuming now. But as we just mentioned, aiming for an overall daily intake of 25 to 38 grams is ideal. And what about where to get that fibre from? Well, we'll go to that in a moment, but first I want to address one of the biggest misconceptions about fibre. When people think about fibre, they often think of wheat bread, whole grain breads, brown rice, oats, and other grain-based products. In fact, if you go surf the Wild West web, you'll come across all sorts of articles pronouncing the benefits of fibre in whole grains for people with pre- and T2 diabetes. Well, truth be told, this type of info is rubbish. While it's true that foods like bread, oats, rice, and whole grains do contain some fibre, these foods are not recommended because they are very high carbohydrate foods. You want to minimise these in your eating plan. Even the American Diabetes Association acknowledged in their Standards of Medical Care report that, and I quote, whole grain consumption was not associated with improvements in glycemic control in type 2 diabetes. Or in other words, eating whole grains doesn't help you manage blood sugar and A1C levels, as many rubbish articles out there on the Wild West web might propose. There has been no evidence to suggest otherwise that whole grains actually help with prediabetes and type 2 diabetes treatment. And as we spoke about all the way back in episode 2, treatment of a health condition is vastly different from prevention of a health condition. Yet, you go searching out there on the Wild West web, you read information online you think is meant to be for type 2 diabetes treatment, but what you don't know is that whoever has written that information doesn't know how to research properly, and they are just sharing blanket statements that refer to diabetes prevention. Lots of information out there on the Wild West web is based on evidence for diabetes prevention, not diabetes treatment. It's not the same. So when it comes to the topic of fibre, you are going to see a lot of rubbish on this stuff. Yes, fibre can help, but the misconception is that you don't. need to eat grain-based foods to get adequate amounts of fibre. And let me give you some examples of this. 1 cup of brown rice has 3.5 grams of fibre, while half an avocado has 6.7 grams of fibre. 1/4 cup of oats has 2 grams of fibre, and 1 tablespoon of chia seeds has 4 grams of fibre. Both the avocado and chia seeds provide a rich source of beneficial soluble fibre and much more fibre than brown rice or oats, and without the carbohydrate load. So soluble fibre can be found in artichoke, asparagus, winter squash, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, onion, garlic, leeks, carrots, beans, legumes, blueberries, seeds and nuts, and lots of other vegetables. So just focus on eating lots of fresh foods, lots of fresh vegetables, nuts and seeds, and small amounts of beans and legumes. Essentially, if you do that, you will get ample fibre from eating all those non-starchy veggies, nuts, seeds, and other whole foods, but you won't get all those high carbs that can send your blood sugar soaring. So you can also go and listen to episode 6 on what to eat to treat diabetes, as this covers lots of different foods in more detail. Another misconception I want to address is the fibre in processed foods. Fibre is often added to processed foods like cereals, snack bars, and baked goods to improve their nutritional profile. And manufacturers often do this on purpose because it helps them to get into, let's say, a healthier category of foods on the food labels and things like that. However, something to keep in mind is that the source and type of fibre in these foods can vary greatly. So many processed foods use isolated fibres like inulin, resistant dextrin or cellulose, which may not offer the same broad health benefits as fibre naturally found in whole foods, for example. So while added fibre can contribute to your overall intake and it might improve digestive health or glycemic response, it's important to consider the overall nutrient composition of the food as well, because it's easy for people to think, okay, this food has lots of fibre, so it's a good food. But if it has a long list of other ingredients and it's highly processed, it doesn't matter how much fibre it has. A junk food is a junk food, essentially. So while adding fibre can make a food more blood sugar friendly in one way, it's not a free pass to just consume lots of processed foods. So again, focusing on naturally fibre-rich whole foods remains the best strategy for contributing to better blood sugar levels. Before we look at other ways to increase your fibre intake, let's hear a testimonial from one of our members.
Val said, I wanted to see my A1C under 5.7, but my doctor told me that because of the medications I have to take, not to expect that to happen. I got great news today. My A1C is 5.8. I am so grateful for DMP.
So we've talked about the benefits of fibre, how much to have per day and what types of foods to focus on to increase your fibre. What about increasing fibre through supplements? The good news is soluble fibre from foods is important, and supplementing with soluble fibre can add similar benefits to those outlined in the reviews we discussed earlier. A1C reductions, decreases in fasting blood sugar and fasting insulin levels, and improvements in postprandial after meal blood sugar levels. There are various different fibre supplements that can have benefits, for example, glucomannan, psyllium husk, acacia fibre, inulin, and others. Today I want to focus on psyllium husk, and we will leave more info about this on our website in the show notes and for members inside the members library. So psyllium husks are derived from a shrub called Plantago ovado, and psyllium husks are a soluble fibre, the type that is highly beneficial to you. Like other soluble fibres, psyllium produces that mucus gel-like substance in your intestine, and this slows the absorption of glucose and carbohydrate into your bloodstream. But psyllium is like a concentrated form of soluble fibre, and this can have very powerful effects for improving blood sugar levels. So studies have shown that after 8 weeks of supplementing with psyllium, fasting blood sugar reduces by an average of 43 to 52.6 milligrams per deciliter. That's 2.4 to 2.9 millimoles per litre. And by anyone's measure, that's a substantial reduction. In terms of A1C reductions, studies have shown decreases of 0.6 up to 1.6% from 8 weeks of supplementation. So that's a pretty wide range, but from 0.6 up to 1.6% in A1C reductions. And studies indicate blood sugar levels are improved throughout the day, and postprandial blood sugar is around 11 to 20% lower in those supplementing with this beneficial fibre. We also see that studies show us that it can assist with weight loss, and of course it helps reduce LDL cholesterol and total cholesterol, enhances insulin sensitivity, and is one of the most useful supplements to promote healthy digestion and relieve constipation. So overall, psyllium husks are a powerful natural dietary supplement that can aid in blood sugar control, cholesterol management, and digestive health. If getting enough fibre through your eating plan is a struggle, or you want to up the fibre for its known benefits, then adding psyllium husk as a supplement can be beneficial. And according to research, a safe and effective dose is approximately 5 grams up to 3 times per day. And to supplement it directly, you mix that psyllium husk with at least 8 ounce or 250 mils of water, and you take it around 20 to 30 minutes before meals, morning and night if taking it twice a day. And after taking it, make sure you wash it down with some additional water. Again, if you're interested to learn more about psyllium, the best psyllium supplements, and more info about dosages and timing of your dosages, head to our websites for the show notes on episode 73. And for members, find many more resources inside the members library, including this info on psyllium, fibre-rich food charts, a fibre guide, and more. So to wrap up, fibre is an incredible ally in your health journey. Whether you're increasing your intake through non-starchy veggies, nuts, seeds, or adding a supplement like psyllium husk, the benefits for blood sugar control, cholesterol management, insulin sensitivity, inflammation, and other things are clear. Fibre has nothing but positives to add to your eating plan, and adding more fibre to your daily routine may be one of the easiest places to start, or one of the easiest ways to power up your results. Remember, you can find those additional notes and resources alongside episode 73 on our website, or for members inside the members library. Thanks for tuning in to join me today. Until next time, take care of you. Dr. Jeddah, over and out.
Thanks for tuning in to Type 2 Diabetes Talk. Please subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast platform. And for episode replays, episode notes, and more, visit type2diabetestalk.com. New episodes are available Tuesdays, 10 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time, or your time zone equivalent. Thanks again. We're truly grateful to be a part of your life and help make a real difference.